Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, I want to share a post-burn review of HomeWorx Gilded Pomander. I actually purchased this last year over on QVC when the entire Elton John holiday collection was first released. I was really into that collection and purchased a number of pieces. So I got some of the candle duos. I got one of the larger like ceramic pieces. I also bought a luxe size of the Tangerine Palazzo. I kind of went ham on the collection. I really just liked the overall design choice for this particular collection. I liked the fragrances, and then also I am a fan of Elton John. I wouldn't consider myself a super fan or anything like that, but I've always enjoyed his music over the years, and I thought this collaboration was just a really fun one, right? Like, a lot of things appealed to me about it. So when I got everything to the house here after all of my packages came, this was the one fragrance that I was like, this didn't at all turn out the way that I expected it to. And so I literally just left the candles in the box and set them to the side in my office. And it was not until I think August of this year that I finally moved those two candles upstairs into the candle closet. I had thought about sending it back, and if you're not aware, if you want to send something back to QVC and you want a full refund, just mark it as defective. I personally didn't feel entirely right about that because honestly, I just didn't like the fragrance. Like, I hadn't burned it, and so I didn't know there was any defect or anything like that. But yeah, I definitely, I was a little disappointed in this fragrance. And so I just was like, you know what? I'll just let it sit. We'll see how I feel about it, you know, maybe this coming holiday season or whatever. And so I saw it in the candle closet a couple days ago, and I decided to pull it out, and I was like, well, I have two. I'm just gonna burn it. I'm gonna see how I feel about it post-burn, because on cold sniff, I just was not terribly impressed with the fragrance at all. And I'll be perfectly honest, I'm still not overly impressed. If you are newer to my channel, I am definitely a huge fan of orange pomander fragrances. If you're not familiar, I did actually have a collab candle with Kringle Candle where I got to design my own fragrance, and I selected an orange pomander holiday type scent because that was something that I feel like I had never experienced in a way that I wanted to. And so I had a very specific vision for the type of orange pomander fragrance that I wanted to create. And it was very much more like citrus forward. Definitely still wanted some clove in there, obviously, because that's what an orange pomander is. But I feel like for me, I wanted more emphasis on the citrus portion. Whereas this fragrance here doesn't really actually have that emphasis. So anyway, we're gonna get into all of it here, but yeah, I thought it was still worth reviewing this just in case this fragrance comes back this year to QVC. I'm sure with how successful the first collaboration was with Elton John that Harry will probably be bringing us potentially another round in the future. And just in case this one comes back, I thought I'd go ahead and share my thoughts. So let's go ahead and get into the usual review style here, and let's talk about this one because there's a couple of specific reasons that I have some beef with this particular scent profile. So let's get into it. So I don't have the fragrance story for this particular fragrance. I do usually like reading through those. But QVC no longer has this product on their website because obviously it it's sold out. So I will say, however, there are a few sets left over from last year that are still in the clearance section. So I'll link those down below. I haven't really had any major like burn issues with any of these candles. This one had a little bit of an annoying thing, but it's kind of fixing itself, so it's fine. But for the most part, I think these candles all burned quite well. So if there are some other fragrances that appeal to you, the clearance pricing is, I would say, I don't know, it's decent. So check it out if you're interested. But I do have the fragrance notes, obviously, from the bottom of the jar. So I'm going to go ahead and read through those, and then I'll tell you how this fragrance comes across to my nose. We'll dig into the strength and the throw, and then, of course, address any burn issues. So, all right. So the notes from the bottom of the jar read: blood orange, crisp eucalyptus, cinnamon spiced cloves, and fir needle. So, those of you who watch my reviews regularly are probably going to be aware that I'm going to address the eucalyptus first. I don't like eucalyptus at all, just as a fragrance note, or even just eucalyptus in general. My day job, what I do for a living is I am a florist. And so I work a lot with eucalyptus. And for me, that, like, I don't know, it smells kind of medicinal to my nose. That particular like greenery note just reminds me of going to work. It's a very pervasive fragrance in the studio, and it just kind of tends to take over everything. And I think it has the opposite effect on me. Most people really find it like to be energizing. Some people find eucalyptus to be kind of relaxing. But for me, I don't find it to be any of those things. It reminds me of going to work. And I don't know about you, but when I come home from work, I don't want to be reminded of that place. I love my job. I really love what I do. I don't want to imply that I'm like an angry florist, but I just don't necessarily want my house to smell like the design studio. So anyway, can I smell eucalyptus in here? Yes, I can. I can smell it. It's not crazy prominent, but it's definitely there. And there's enough of it in this fragrance for it to kind of bug me a little bit. So yeah, the eucalyptus is definitely strike number one here. And I would say strike number two, let's just address that. It is the cinnamon spiced cloves. I really prefer my orange pomander fragrances to be much more focused on the citrus. And there's so much heavy clove in this that, quite honestly, I don't smell much of that blood orange at all. The little bit that I can smell is a nice blood orange note, and it's a little different from, you know, the regular like navel orange type citrus note that is used with orange pomander fragrances. So I'm definitely intrigued by the blood orange, but the clove just seems to take over everything. That is the most prominent note here. So if you are a huge fan of clove and you're mostly looking for that like spicy clove, then this would probably be the perfect scent for you. So for me, it goes the cinnamon spiced clove, and there is a little bit of cinnamon in here. It's not necessarily red hot cinnamon, but it's also not like a real bakery cinnamon either. It's more of like a cinnamon bark, if you will. So yeah, if you're looking for a lot of clove, that's definitely in here. If you like eucalyptus, you'll get some of that. If you like just a tiny hint of orange, a blood orange specifically, because that's what this is, yeah, you're gonna like this. The fir needle. This is the part that I actually thought was a great addition, because in my vintage pomander fragrance, I also added like a little bit of a holiday tree note. And I feel like that definitely makes the fragrance even more Christmas-like, if you will. But I don't smell much of that fir needle at all in here. I think I smell it a little bit more on cold sniff than I do post burn. So overall, this fragrance profile is just not at all what I was, I guess, expecting, and more so maybe looking for. So it doesn't make it a bad blend, it just makes it not the right blend for me. I am sure there are others out there who would absolutely love this particular scent. So yeah. Anyway, for what it's worth, those are my thoughts on the fragrance. Let's talk strength and throw. This has had a pretty, I would say, kind of low medium strength and throw. At best, I would say the strength has been a 6. Now, it's been a pretty consistent 6. The throw is also kind of somewhere between a 5 and a 6. This one doesn't really travel a super long way. And so for me, that's working out here because this has been a little bit more relegated to the family room where I've been burning it. So it doesn't feel like a huge part of the downstairs. I can, listen, when I walk in the front door, if this is going, like if I go to take out the garbage or whatever and I come back in and this is burning in the family room, which is a little ways from the front door, I can definitely get whiffs of this candle at the front door, but it's not something where as soon as I open the door, it's like whoosh, you know, like gilded pomander to the face. It's not like that. So in this more open concept style situation that I have here, this is more of a low medium strength and throw. So burn quality. All right, so this little guy here didn't really deal with this with the other candles from what I recall, but this one here, for whatever reason, one side of the candle never really fully pulled out. Now, as the candle is burning further down, I just decided to leave that little bit, and I'll give you guys the overhead shot so you can actually see it, but you might be able to see it on the side of the jar, just right there, that little hunk of wax that's just clinging on for dear life. Yeah, I just decided to go ahead and leave that, even though I could very easily at this point either slide it down into the wax or pluck it out. I'm just kind of slowly letting it melt into the wax pool because with each burn, there's a little bit more that melts into the actual wax pool. So that has been the only real issue that I've had with this candle, is that there was one side that didn't really want to pull out. The wicks have been fine. The wicks are very thin, and so I was a little bit afraid with this particular collection that these wicks were just gonna like completely suck, but they actually do quite well. They're just very skinny. You want to be careful when you're trimming these because it can be easy to accidentally snap them if you knock your wick trimmer into one of the wicks or something, so keep that in mind. But as long as you're careful, I mean, these seem to have a pretty decent burn. They are 3 wicks though, which we all know is not necessarily my favorite format. So yeah, let's go ahead and take that overhead look here. This hasn't even completely pulled out for this burn right now, so you're just catching the beginning of it here. But you can see this little bit of wax just right over here. Like I could easily, honestly, at this point, just pluck that out. But I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, you can see those skinny wicks there, but they get the job done. I will say they don't peter out. So anyway, sorry, gosh, you guys, I have both dogs snoring in here right now, so sorry if you can hear that in the background, but let me get you seated here again. There we go. Yeah, for what it's worth, will I repurchase this? No, absolutely not. Not me. But if this does come back and you're looking for a much more clove forward fragrance, you might really enjoy this one. So I would say go for it. Otherwise, if you want something much juicier, I would probably look elsewhere for that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. There will hopefully be one more candle review a little bit later on this afternoon. We'll see if I can get it done. But yeah, if you are new around here, I would love for you to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.